Good morning. My name is David Battistini. I'm a product manager here at Rave Mobile Safety. I have the awesome responsibility of Rave Alert and Rave Guardian here. So today I really appreciate you taking some time out of your day to discuss Rave Alert and kind of expanding Rave Alert beyond just Clery compliance. You know, here at Rave, you're going to hear me use this kind of throughout our conversation today. It's all the time, every time. You know, we've really gone above and beyond building a critical communications platform that allows you to communicate with tens of people or tens of thousands of people, regardless of the situation. So today I kind of want to take an opportunity to show how we can highlight Rave Alert and dive into some of those more non-traditional use cases for Rave Alert and really help double down on the investment that you've already made. You already have to have a mass notification system for Clery compliance. Our goal here is, since you've got the best one with Rave Alert, let's show you how you can leverage that safely throughout your environment. As always, this is a live webinar. If you do have any questions, things you want me to cover, things that doesn't matter what the topic happens to be, whether it's here or not, there's a questions panel within the GoToWebinar on the right-hand side of your screen. Go ahead and type it in there. If it matches the topic that we're talking about, I'll be sure to discuss it during the conversation. If not, I'll follow up with you after. I'm always available for a conversation outside of these webinars. So when we talk about expanding the reach of your mass notification system, there's really three areas I'm going to touch on today. The first one is performance. Second one is just overall reach, both in who you're reaching to and the modes that you're reaching out via. And lastly, it's access. It's who can leverage this very powerful tool that you have. So first, for performance, and this is kind of one of the highlights of working with really smart people that eat, sleep, and breathe emergency response and emergency management and all of the things that you do day in, day out. You tend to be a very rational and logical group of individuals. And this is very refreshing as a kind of fellow propeller head, albeit in a different area. I eat, sleep, and breathe software day in and day out and just appreciate from afar while you get up in the morning. And so when I was having a conversation about expanding a customer's mass notification platform, they faced a very logical problem to me is, if I expand my population, it's going to take more time to deliver that message. And I kind of rocked back for a bit and said, yeah, you're right. It's a simple fact. If you increase the alert size, it's going to take longer to reach your entire population. A alert that has 10 people is logically going to compute and complete faster than an alert that has 10,000 people. And so that's one of those technical problems that really sound solvable once we kind of broke it down. And that wasn't a compromise that we wanted to have our customers making. So what we did is we went out and looked at performance throughout our entire platform. And over the last few years, we've doubled our voice capacity. Email, the last mile is really the current bottleneck with email. As a number of you are moving towards Office 365 or Google Apps for Education or similar hosted environments, we're sending mail as fast as those downstream providers can receive them. So we're not the bottleneck there. But candidly, we realized that we could be delivering SMS faster. And so that's just what we did. We dramatically increased our SMS performance over the last 60 to 90 days. We've added additional aggregators and additional direct connections. And what that means is our messages can get out onto the handsets faster and through more routes. So if there's ever a problem with the network, Rave has actually at least 3 paths to every single subscriber here in the US. So if there ever is an issue, whether it's congestion or a problem with the SMS network, we have a way around it and a way to get that message to that subscriber. From a performance standpoint, I know this is kind of more of a propeller head statistic for me, but we're regularly seeing SMS throughputs above 2,000 messages a second. And ultimately what that breaks down to is we can reach even the largest of large populations in mere minutes. So as soon as you press send, Rave Alert is ramped up and ready to send messages. Ultimately when the rubber hits the road, that means that you shouldn't have to worry about the size of your audience when it comes to the communication speed. Now, if no one's going to sit up in my position and guarantee message delivery. There's just too many variables in that equation to solve. But what we've tried to do is really mitigate as much risk in this problem as we can, with as many direct connections and as many redundant connections as possible, and as many throughput is the fastest throughput as possible. Ultimately, what we want you to realize is that there's trust there, and that you don't have to worry about increasing the delivery size or the population size and sacrificing performance. So just some real world examples, and these are over the last, starting earlier in July when we kind of went live with this. 10,000 SMS, here's an alert where we sent it in 3 seconds. And so these are available reports that are in your Rave Alert dashboard. You can go look at these. We were peaking out at 3,000 messages a second at this particular alert. Another alert with 3,300 SMS messages, we're cranking near 2,000 messages a second. We were done in 15 seconds. If you compare your tests, if you do quarterly tests or back to school semester tests from this year compared to last year, you don't have any performance complaints last year, you certainly won't this year. The performance is ultimately there. And so what does that mean? Now that the performance is there, you can feel free to reach as many users as you need to effectively communicate whatever message that is you're trying to deliver. An adage that we kind of throw around here at Rave is we're only as good as the people we can reach. It doesn't matter if I can send 10 messages fast. If those aren't the 10 people that we need to reach, it's all for naught. So for us, it's all about how do we manage data within our system. Now, I'm not going to go too deep into data management. I'm going to break it down into two really simple concepts. You either have the data and you're looking at it, or you don't have the data and you're looking for it. Whichever population you fall into, we have a way of helping you solve with that problem. So in the case of you're looking at the data, whether that's in an HR system, a student information system, a combination of the two. We have a way through our Rave Smart Loader of that set it and forget it automation. A number of our customers already have this today where on an automated nightly fashion, we're importing that data into Rave Alert and keeping it in sync. Additionally, we rolled out Managed Contacts a little over a year ago. It's a separate data store, if you will, a separate database of users that's managed via a CSV upload process. That's more designed more for use cases around summer camps or contractors or other sources of data that you currently have, but aren't able to manage through your SIS system or another system of record. It allows you to ad hoc upload CSV contacts to the Rave Alert database and use those throughout your database. So if you have the data, we can get it into Rave. If you're looking for the data, we have a number of different ways that you can help import that data or collect that data from your end users or your constituents. The first is the Rave user portal. So if you've got all of your students, but you're lacking mobile phones or you're lacking additional points of contact, we have the ability to solicit that data in the form or from our user portal. Now, sometimes that's in the, you want to keep that data in your system. That's great. We don't care. You can use Smart Loader to pull it in. Other times it might be easier for us to grab 2 additional phone numbers or an additional landline or what have you, and not have to, involve your PeopleSoft or Oracle admins. We can do that, and we can also reflect it back to you through our enrollment report, so you always will have that data. At the end of the day, that data is ultimately yours. The other thing I'm going to talk about today is our SMS opt-in. So if you don't have the data and you don't know you don't know when you're going to get it, and you're looking for it, SMS opt-in is a great new add-on for Rave Alert that really allows you to include anyone on your campus for a critical communication message. So SMS opt-in allows someone to text a keyword to one of our short codes and then automatically include themselves in a list within Rave Alert. Now, the use cases on this are really endless. I'll walk through all the different configuration options that you have with SMS opt-in. But ultimately, it's designed to try to get your additional populations in the system. As I'm talking to our customers, often I hear that it's a bad day when emergency management or campus safety is front and center within an organization. And I feel it's kind of unfortunate, right? Everyone works very hard and diligent to kind of stay behind the scenes. You don't get often an opportunity to go out and be proactive. There's those preparedness weeks and things like that that are more ceremonious. But there's not a day-to-day, public outreach that can occur from campus safety. Those blue light phones, I know that they're kind of a four-letter word in the campus safety environment, but that's the public face as you see day in and day out. What SMS Optin allows you guys to do is really have a public face to your emergency notification system. You can see this on a sandwich board in front of the student union or printed on the bottom of a campus map for visitors. But basically, you're allowed to pick a keyword that's assigned to you, and that keyword can be used to automatically opt users into lists. So in this case, the keyword that this customer has chosen is visits. But once that keyword is chosen, that user, whether it's someone that's already in the system or not, is able to join that particular instance of Rave Alert and receive any notifications that are targeted towards that list. Now, this is an additional add-on that's offered to Rave Alert. So you'll see that in the list configuration today, you might not see this keyword opt-in functionality, but it is available, and you can talk to your sales rep to have this enabled for you. But what it will allow you to do here is configure a couple of things. So each one of our opt-in lists will have a name, a title, and a description, and that's used within Rave Alert. And then you'll see this keyword opt-in checkbox. What it will allow you to do is specify a keyword. The keywords are globally unique, so they are assigned to a single customer, kind of first come, first serve, and that is your keyword. You can change it at any point in time. It just goes back into the available pool of keywords, but it is a first come, first serve use case. Once your keyword's defined, you have the option to send a welcome message. That welcome message is basically once that visitor or parent or whoever it happens to be texts that keyword to one of our short codes, they're automatically going to receive this optional welcome message. So, and if I go back a slide here, you'll see that we first, just for kind of liability's sake, will include the standard disclaimers for all the carriers, and then you can receive this welcome message. You can completely customize all of the content in that welcome message. This boilerplate is ultimately a requirement from the carriers and the Mobile Marketing Association. Once they're part of your list and they've joined the system, you have a choice of how long they stay in the system. So if this is something for visitors, or maybe it's an event that's on campus, you might want them to expire 2 days after they opt in. So here you'll have the ability to set a duration. And this is the minimum amount of time that they'll keep in our system. We expire all these users on a daily basis at 12 noon Eastern. You'll be in for at least 2 days. So if you sign up on Monday, you'll be expired on Wednesday. Once that user expires, they can optionally be sent an expiration message. So one of the cool things you can do with this particular functionality is kind of this nice little loop. You can send them hey, you've been opted out of emergency notifications from our community, but you can reply with the same keyword that you originally opted in with, and that'll kind of re-up your subscription. So if it's a weekly subscription or a monthly subscription or even a semesterly subscription, that's up to you. They'll have the option to kind of re-up that particular list membership. If there's a parents' weekend coming up and it's not this explicit duration, you have the ability to specify a date at which everyone will expire. So if you're bringing in a bunch of parents and you want them to sign up for notifications, they might not necessarily be emergency notifications. Maybe they're just updates on where the events are happening throughout campus. You can sign them up and you can send them, schedule all of your alerts that are going to go out throughout your parents' weekend. And then you can have that set to expire on the Monday after parents' weekend. So you'll have the entire time running up to parents' weekend to advertise it. And then that following Monday, they'll get on that whatever that date you specify here in this date duration. That's when those lists will expire. Those can optionally be sent that expiration message thanking them for coming and visiting, and they're out of the system and that's it. They haven't impacted, you know, a resource to manage those subscriptions. This is completely self-managed by that individual. You can also use SMS opt-in lists to kind of manage internal notification lists. So if there's a group or an event or a community within your campus that you want to receive, maybe there's a football game or a concert or a stadium that has events, you can create a keyword for, you know, the ABC Youth Center, for example, and send out more promotional materials. And maybe that would have an expiration that does not expire. So you have all these different options to try to manage or alleviate the burden that comes with subscriber management. The cool thing is, as you go through this process, all of these things kind of ebb and flow, and they're automatically managed. There's really no additional resources that are needed to kind of expand both the population that you're reaching from a user standpoint and a recipient standpoint, and the events that you can use these for. You have a real easy way of having people tell you what they're interested in. Now, you know, because again, I go back to my first, you are all logical and very rational individuals. There's a concern about people stopping and opting out of these notifications. Maybe that event notification is a little bit chatty. Well, what we've done is with these opt-in lists, we've created an intelligent stop system. So if a user subscribes, if a subscriber is part of one of these lists and they reply stop, we're going to ask them what they want to stop from. So they're not immediately going to be opted out of all of your emergency notifications. They'll have the ability to stop all, or more likely just stop the promotional or stop the ABC Youth Center notification. So that's another kind of transactional thing that's happening with our SMS opt-in. No, again, that is a premium module for Rave Alert. All of our customers will have, if you don't have it already, you'll have it really soon, the ability to add these opt-in lists to your portal. So if you're collecting user data and you want to have users opt into additional lists directly, so there's the list that you manage that are either loaded into the system or that you've built manually or you've constructed out of a query syntax based on the data available within Rave Alert. You can now have the users opt directly into these lists. So here you'll see under my account page, there's the opt-in list tab. They can go ahead and check the box for the subscriptions. Now they can do this both via the web interface here, and if these lists have a keyword associated with them, texting the keyword in will also have the effect of checking the box, so that someone that's part of your system that joins or that texts the keyword to join a list, they can see that right here. So you kind of get that combined view of the world. You know which population of your users are opting in to receive these notifications, as well as which part of the public, if you will, are opting in. And you have the control. So these lists have availability for public or private. You can control whether you want to make these lists available for just your existing users that are already part of your organization, or you want this to be public ones that are available to anyone. So an emergency notification, that might be everyone. A marketing or an event or a parking type notification system, that might be a private one intended just for your population. Now, as you know, our portals fully support single sign-on. So if you've already got a set of credentials that are that are distributed across your environment, these users can single sign in to receive to this portal and configure their opt-in list preferences. So I've kind of talked about expanding the people that we're talking to. Let's talk about how we reach our customers or our subscribers. So we are multimodal. As you know, we can just about reach a user via every path. The one I'm going to talk about next is Rave Guardian. Before I get there, I noticed we have a number of schools on the webinar today that may be larger. We have seen some of our larger customers being granted IPAWS permissions. So prepare for acronym overload, but IPAWS is the Integrated Public Alert and Warning System from FEMA. And what that'll allow you to do is to send a wireless emergency alert or a WIA alert to anyone with a cell phone in a geographic area. Now, this is only available to in the event of an imminent threat or something that has a direct impact to health and life safety. But we are seeing some schools being granted permission to use iPods. So that's something you're interested in. It is governed at a state level. We have seen some instances where it's governed down to the county level. But I'd encourage you to reach out to your state emergency management official and ask about becoming a COG, or a collaborative operating group, within the iPod system. That's another great way of kind of having a belt, suspenders, and duct tape model to reach anyone on campus. You know, it's certainly not the best mode of communication for a power outage, but if there ever something much more severe, you do have a way of reaching anyone on campus geographically, regardless of their membership within Rave Alert. So kind of onto Rave Guardian. Rave Guardian is kind of a natural extension of Rave Alert from an app perspective. Now, we're spending a lot of time now and into the future with Rave Guardian. So you're going to see a lot coming out of Rave about Rave Guardian in the coming months. But what we've introduced now is Wi-Fi alerts. So you can target any one of your Guardian users, and they can receive Wi-Fi notifications through Rave Guardian. Just like you can receive text, email, and voice, there's another unique way of targeting a user. That works regardless of their cellular connectivity. So if you've got a lab that's in the basement of the old chemistry building, and the only thing that works there cellular signal-wise is Wi-Fi, they can still receive your notifications. Now, in addition to alerts, Rave Guardian has a whole host of other campus safety benefits, whether it's our safety timer, so the ability to set up a timer session between individuals, whether it be social, a student and their peers, or with campus safety, if there's a situation that they feel uncomfortable with, right? If they're walking back from the library to their dorm room late at night, they can set up a timer session, and it'll watch over them and breadcrumb their location as they walk throughout campus. When they get safely back to their dorm, they can disable that timer, and they'll let everyone know that they arrived safely. And that works, again, both socially and with campus safety, and we can configure that to meet the needs of your organization. You can send a tip. So if you have a See Something, Say Something campaign, our tips can be enabled via Guardian. That'll allow them to text a tip directly to a console that's in the campus safety environment. We also have additional functionality with our text-to-tip that allows tips to be submitted via a keyword, just similar to our opt-in lists. You can establish a tipping keyword that folks can anonymously or provide their phone number to you and text directly to campus safety. So it's a two-way kind of a text chat capability that's there. And there's always one button emergency call, so they can call campus safety directly. Campus safety gets the location of the caller and a whole bunch of other information like that caller's safety profile, where they are, any notes associated with that individual that have been entered in the past. All is available within our Guardian timer. Now, what's coming soon, and by soon I mean the end of this month, is our location-aware alerting capability. Now, again, this has kind of been met with mixed reactions across our higher education customers. I think many of you have the mentality that says, if it's worth telling one person, it's probably worth notifying all of the people, just from a risk mitigation standpoint. This might not be the best mode of communication for your day-to-day notifications, but I know you've all been in a situation where something has happened considerably outside of the campus walls, and there's a, hey, do we have anyone there, type question that ultimately gets passed down to some safety official. Well, with Rave Guardian and location-aware alerting, you'll have the ability to draw a polygon on a map and send an alert just to the users that are in that polygon, so that if there's an event that's happening, in Paris or in another part of the world, you can very quickly draw a circle and send them a message to say, here's where you can go for help, or here's information that you may find useful. All that is just targeted to users that are in that area. Those alerts are persistent, meaning that they will stay active for a period of time, and if anyone enters into that environment, they'll receive those notifications. And then lastly, you'll have opt-in and opt-out controls to configure and make sure that that location awareness is appropriate to your privacy concerns within your environment. Again, it's only as good as the people you can reach, and that holds true for Guardian as well. If you have Guardian today, go take a look at ravecustomer.com. We have a whole host of new Guardian materials that are available for download and rebranding for use in your university. And the last thing I'm going to talk about here as we approach the bottom of the hour is really expanding access within your organization to Rave Alert. If there's a common theme that we hear anytime we talk about an event, whether it's a weather event, an unplanned emergency event, networking, a computer network outage, an IT event, all the way down to marketing, I think a lot of the after action reports or their equivalent therein really end up with, I wish we could have communicated better. And it's kind of funny when you have Rave Alert sitting at your fingertips, that communication never comes up as an opportunity for improvement. You have the ability to send real-time communications out to an entire population, a subset of that population through as many modes as you can think of. But the important part of that is making sure that people have the right access to the data that they need. Our role-based access controls give you incredible granular controls of the data that an admin has access to. They can have complete features disabled, so they might not have access to people. They might not have access to reports. That's all up to you. But they can go down to specific delivery modes, and beyond that, different channels within those delivery modes. So one admin might not need access to Facebook entirely. Another admin might want access to just the marketing Facebook page. So you'll have all of these very granular controls over different aspects of Rave Alert. I think the most important thing I want to mention here is the user population. So this is something we added a little while back. But in addition to the granular controls over templates and list memberships and that type of things, you can also control the individuals that user has access to and that user can manage. So if there's a population of users that you want to just let the department admin see, access, and create their own little sub lists out of. So here at in Rave, there's our sales team, and I might want to make different lists for the territories. We can do that, and I can delegate that access down to someone who's not a full-blown domain administrator. So you have a ton of granular controls. There's a whole bunch of documentation available on this in the Rave Knowledge Center, the Get Help link at the top right corner of Rave Alert, as well as our training center, and all of that information is available once again at ravecustomer.com. Now, I'm contractually obligated to mention SnapSend in every single webinar I do, so here's my checking the box there. In addition to that, you have our access controlled workflows that allow you to really simplify the send flow for someone who's not familiar with Rave Alert on a day-to-day basis. I know your dispatchers might be coming in and are ready to press send on any template at a moment's notice, but someone that might get delegated access that's using this just for that rainy day when email is not working within your environment and IT needs a better way to communicate, they can come here and they'll see the SnapSend, and you'll notice all of this is very simplified. There's a short message and a long message. Those get populated based on the modes that are selected. So short will be for text and Twitter, long messages for email, Facebook, things where we have a little bit more room. And all of the other questions or complexities, if you will, are hidden from that user. All they're responsible for is typing in content and pressing continue. This works really well in your dispatch center as well, so that they don't have to worry about any additional thought. I'm not trying to be negative in any way, shape, or form, but I understand that in an emergency situation, thinking about Rave Alert is the last thing you want to do on your list. And as a result of that, the last thing I'll talk about here today is something that's kind of more of a PSA. We have our template protection. So if any of your templates are designed to have an author fill additional data in prior to send, I'd encourage you all to change the logic or the placeholder text that you're using. Rave Alert now has the ability to detect placeholder text that starts with open bracket and insert in all capital letters. So in the case, insert building here, insert location here, insert time here, insert day here, things like that. we will scan the alert prior to send, and as you see here on the screen, produce this big active warning that says, hey, it looks like you may have forgotten to update text in the following areas. These modes contain inserts. So we'll go back and check to make sure that those templates have all been updated. So you might have got text, voice, and email, but you forgot Facebook. You get an extra kind of belt suspenders model here. Click the big green button, go back and edit, change that, click continue, and you'll be right at your send flow. So again, this is just one of those little things that, you know, as you may expand the use of Rave Alert beyond your day-to-day officials, there's a real easy way to give them confidence when it comes time to send a notification. So with that, I know I'm coming out a little over my time here. I'm usually succinct, but today I went a little long. I'll answer any questions. I have a few here. I'll probably take the ones I have offline, just in the interest of time. Just the last thing I'm going to end with is I eat, sleep, and breathe feedback. If there's something here that you wanted to discuss that I didn't touch on, or if there's any questions you have, things that you wish we did differently, I've said it once, I'll say it 1,000 times. I can't fix what I don't know is broken. And ultimately, we want this to be the best product for you, and that is all driven by your feedback. I can be reached directly. My phone number is here. My email is here. If you can't remember to spell my last name, just send it to product@Rave Mobile Safety. That'll find its way to me. Again, I'm really happy to spend any time with our customers to learn more about their particular challenges. Just send me an invite with a calendar time, and I'll accept, and we'll go from there. So with that, I thank everyone for their time today. Just in the interest of time, I'm going to take these questions offline, and I'll follow up with those of you who ask questions directly. Thank you again for all that you do, and thank you for being a Rave customer, and we'll talk to you on the next one. Thank you so much.